Give it a second. There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am very excited to bring Sheryl Gardner into the group with us today to help with finding staff because this is what Sheryl is an expert in. And I know that a lot of salon owners, business owners in general, but especially a lot of salon owners have been complaining and that it is really hard to find staff lately. Or not even complaining, like it's just been a fact for a lot of people. Like they're finding it difficult to find people that want to work. Even though they are out there and there are ways to find them. I wanted to bring Sheryl in because she actually specializes in finding staff for salons. She has a recruitment agency. She's very good at it and she knows what works. And also, she used to own a dating agency or a matchmaking agency, which is essentially kind of the same thing. And I think that's really cool because it just shows that you're really good at bringing compatible people together, which is a skill. Um, so I want to ask you a bunch of questions. Actually, let's start with that. Let's talk about bringing compatible people together because I know also some people find staff or find a partner and they're just not a good fit. So can you explain what you look for in, like, let's say the salon owner
Mhm.
first to be able to find them like a compatible person to work for them? Do you have a system or process around that?
We do, Carissa. So basically, it's a little bit like owning a dating agency or a relationship agency because working in business is having a relationship with your employee or your bank manager or anyone. So you've got to make sure that you find the right person for you and your business. That's really important. And it is like dating. You know, when we're out there looking for a life partner or an intimate partner, we need to make sure also that we're a great boss to work with as well.
Yes, so
And that's
important.
really, really important. It's a bit like dating. And I actually opened up, just digressing a tiny bit, the relationship agency, because I found that in the dating agency, a lot of people were coming to me and saying, I want someone like Brad Pitt, and he's got to have this and that and that. And for you to attract in that sort of person in your life, first of all, you've got to be that person.
Yeah,
It's no good saying, I want someone who's a kind, caring, warm, lovely person. If you're not that person, you're just not going to
yes,
attract in. Or you might attract them in, but then they're going to toddle off somewhere else.
they
And
won't
it's the
stay.
same with working for a business as well. So for you to want someone who's really great, who's really wants to work in the business, reliable, hardworking. You've got to make sure, number one, that you're a great boss and a great person, and that you're a fair boss. You're open to the staff coming to you all the time. You're flexible with working hours. No one wants to hear that anymore. But after COVID, people don't want to work crazy hours and every Saturday because they could go and work for an admin company or go and work in a business that works Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and they can sit at an office desk and get really good money. So we've got to be really flexible and probably a little bit generous. The market out there is very competitive. So our job is to really get inside of your heads and get you really thinking about, number one, who you are and what you offer.
Yep.
And sometimes people need to think outside of the box a little bit as well.
Yep.
And when people say there's no staff out there, that's not true. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah. There's
Um,
so many out there. It's
there's
just
so many fantastic
attracting them.
attracting them, so we've got to paint the picture, making sure that the ads really, really good and enticing. We're selling ourselves for them to come and apply for the job role.
Yeah. So
So
can we
that's
talk
really
about
important.
that next? Like, what do
Yeah.
you find? And then I also want to come back to talking about what it means to be a good boss, because I think that's a really important
Okay,
topic
and
as
I'll
well.
probably digress a little bit. I'm sorry, I tend to do that as
That's
well.
fine.
Okay,
That's fine. We can
just
go
keep
all
me
over
on
the
track.
place.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so what do you find works best for attracting staff? Like, I think a lot of people try to avoid spending money on ads. I mean, they do that to like, it's the same with attracting clients, really.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that you've got to spend money to put yourself out there to allow people to find you. And it's advertising, whether it's advertising for clients or advertising for staff members. Can you share a little bit about what works best in terms of advertising for staff members?
Well, I think in anything, you've got to invest in getting the ad out there. So we, as a recruitment company, always recommend, and people go, oh my God, I advertised on Seek and it was useless. Well, there's probably a couple of reasons why that was, and without being, judgmental, it may have been the ad. Like if you're going to
It's
put
always the ad. I'll be judgmental.
yeah, okay, thank you. You can be judgmental.
Because it's the same with Facebook ads. People are like, my ad didn't
Exactly.
work. I'm like, well, the ad wasn't good enough. I'm
No,
sorry.
you've got to be really, we're painting the picture, as I said before. So if you're going to spend money, let's spend it wisely. It's a bit like building a house. Let's build the foundation, otherwise it's just not going to work. Baking a cake, the recipe needs to be right. And it's the same with writing the ad. And my job is to get them to think, because they mightn't think of little things. For example, so we get inside of their heads, or if they're doing the ad themselves, they need to really think about their business, what sort of business they've got. So, and I always ask the salon owners there, if I was a candidate out there, why would I want to come and work for you and your business?
Yeah.
Compared to everybody else out there.
Yeah.
And you could do great things. Like the rate of pay is really important, Carissa, especially for great team members now. It's very competitive, especially for senior hairdressers. Very competitive.
They know they're good.
Yeah, they know they're good. They can command great rates of pay and great working conditions. So we need to make sure that that's very attractive. The working conditions are very good. As I said before, not everyone wants to work, 50 million hours a week anymore. They want occasional Saturdays off. They want a great work-life balance. They might want to work school-based hours. They might want to work late starts.
Yeah.
And normally I'm going, oh my God, Sheryl, it's all about them. Well, it is about them as well. It's got to be a two-way street if we're going to attract the right person in, and we want to attract them and then we want to keep them.
Yes.
Again, going back to the dating thing, we want to attract in the right partner and then we want to keep them.
Yeah.
So getting back to the ad, it's really important to make sure that the ad is very enticing. Little things like, and get, check with your accountant as well, but you can pay someone through vouchers on an irregular basis every 3 months up to $300. So you might pay for their gym memberships, parking, petrol allowance, car allowance. They might want to go away. You find out what their passion is. I love to go away with my partner on a weekend. All right, well, let's work towards accommodation for you a night, up to the value of $300 or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's really work with why would someone want to come and work for you and your business?
I love that. And you just unlocked a memory and reminded me that I used to do that. I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning of my business when I was hiring people, and we learned from that. But towards the end, when I've just was trying my best to be a really good leader, I used to do that. I used to sit down with my staff members and be like, what is your goal for this year? Like, one of them wanted to buy a car. I'm like, okay, what car do you want? Let's look at how much that is. Let's break that down to like how much you're going to need per week or per month to be able to buy that car within a year from now. And let's help to put together a plan. Or like, if you hit these bonuses, like I can,
subsidize their payments.
Yeah. So like little things like that. And that makes people feel like they have a reason to work for you. And I think that voucher tip is like, my accountant told me that years ago as well. And I was like, that's so great.
Fantastic.
Because it's a tax deductible purchase to buy gift vouchers for staff or for clients. And it's such a little, and it doesn't have to be a lot. As you said, like gym memberships can be $15, $18 a week. But if you were to provide that as a bonus for someone working for you and they value that, then like amazing, what a cool place to work.
Or a holiday away, or a night away, or petrol vouchers, or parking vouchers. They all add up. So if we can sort of go, okay, I really want someone great to come work with me, and I don't want them to leave after 3 or 6 months, because the staff turnover in this industry is
Oh yeah.
so high.
Can
So
we talk about that a little bit? Because and especially what you said before, like you have to be a good person to work for. And like, I think the mindset wise is, yeah, a lot of people just want people to come and do what they want them to do, but they don't want to think about what's best for the other people. And this is just a really strong ego-based mentality that a lot of people have that you can unlearn, and you can start thinking about differently. But now I've got confused. What
that's
was
right.
talking
About
about?
being a
Like,
good boss, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And also, and look, that goes back to years ago. People just thought, I'm the boss. People should, want to come and work for me. And 40 odd years ago, that was probably the case. But it's
Yeah,
not now, especially
no.
after COVID. People are just going, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go and work for a government cushy job. I'll get 40 something dollars an hour. I'll sit here and play on my phone, get a lunch break, and work Monday to Friday with a lunch break. No Saturdays. I don't have to stand up all day blow drying or doing beauty treatments. And, people don't want to work the same as they used to. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. And they go, no, Sheryl, I just want them to come and do their job. Well, that's not going to work long term.
Mm.
They're going to toddle off to someone else, as we do in an intimate relationship.
Yes.
It's
So staff
exactly the
turnover,
same.
that's where I was going with that. So why do
Mhm.
you think the reason is why staff like leave?
Oh, it's the same as in a intimate relationship as well, Carissa. They don't feel valued. They don't feel heard. They don't feel respected. They're the main things. You can't come and, if you're not a great boss, no offense, and people can't come to you and talk to you, it's just not going to work. It's just another relationship. That's
Yeah.
all it is. And it's pretty easy if we can look at that as, they're not just my boss, they're a person, or they're not just my staff member, they're a person. They've got feelings. If I'm rude to them, they're going to leave.
Yeah.
If I don't treat them properly, they're going to leave. And a lot of people will do staff meetings as well, instead of just doing one-on-ones, because a lot of people suffer from anxiety nowadays, and they're not going to open up in front of a
Other
group of
people.
others and be ridiculed. Or if you're not an open boss or an open manager, people aren't going to open up to you.
Yes.
So you need to nurture that relationship once you
Yeah.
do find them.
Yeah.
And
And I
it's
think,
as simple as that.
yeah, I think the vulnerability and transparency is really important as well. And yeah, just very good communication. Like sometimes people leave just because you don't ask them what they're wanting to do long term, or if how they're feeling about the job, or is there anything like, have they been feeling uncomfortable lately? Or is there anything you can do to make them feel better or enjoy the job better?
Work.
Like it's just a lot of people try to avoid those slightly uncomfortable conversations. But where and when you have them and you actually get to know how someone's going and what they're wanting and how they're feeling about everything, then you can actually, yeah, work together, because it should be, like, as you said, it's a relationship and it needs to be mutually beneficial, not just beneficial for one person. Otherwise, it's a one-sided relationship. So you need to be getting what you and your business needs from this person and your needs met, and they need to be getting their needs met.
Their needs met.
Yeah.
And maybe they need more training.
Yeah.
And instead of just, I've learned this a lot as well, instead of just telling someone off, give them praise as well. That's really important, because most of the time they know if they've made a mistake or they've
Yeah.
done
Like
something.
imagine
So
having a boyfriend that just points out all your flaws all the time and never
well,
tells you what's good about yourself. You're going to
you'd
feel like
be
shit. You don't
Yeah,
like
you're
them
going to feel
anymore.
very insecure, and then somebody
Yes.
else will come along, some nicer guy that
Yeah.
compliments you, and you go,
Yeah.
wow, I'm going
Maybe
to
I'll
go
go
with him.
there.
Yeah. And it's the same with working for a business owner. And this is a really tough pill to swallow too for some people, because they just don't like that concept. But once you get it, you can have a great business. That we work with so many great businesses that people just line up to go and work for them,
Yeah.
because they're great bosses,
Yeah.
and
And they
there's
build a
other
good brand and a
people,
good reputation, and people want to
yeah,
work
and they
for them.
care about their team, and
Hmm.
they really listen to them. And there's others that just don't listen, and then they have the same problem over and over again until one day they go, okay, now I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
And
And I
that's
think,
okay.
yeah. I think also, if you put yourself back in, like a lot of us, used to have a job before we have a business, and we probably had different bosses and stuff. And, I can clearly see the difference between the boss that I liked and wanted to do a good job for, and the boss that I didn't like, didn't respect, and didn't care what kind of work I put in. And it was how
Yeah.
they treated me. So, um, yeah,
Yeah. It
it
just
makes a
really,
massive difference.
at the end of the day, it all goes back to you,
Yeah.
um, in your business. If your business is failing, everyone wants to blame the economy, the staff, the weather, I don't know, whatever
Yeah,
excuses they make. But really, it's up to you
it is.
to really look at, okay,
And the
what's going
people,
on? What's going
sorry.
on in my business? How am I turning up in my business every day as well?
Yes. And
So
yeah, the
that's the
people that are
start.
brave enough to take that responsibility are the ones that can go to
Yeah,
that next level. The
yeah,
people
and
that,
become very successful.
yeah.
Yes,
Can we talk a little bit about your like process for how you decide, like how you filter applicants? So let's say you get an ad running, which you do for your clients all of the time, and it starts bringing in heaps of applicants because it's a good ad. You
yeah,
then have a process that because you do this for people, where you
yes,
can
we do.
filter the applicants, to just make sure you get the good ones and then book them in for interviews on
Mhm.
behalf of the clients too, from my knowledge,
Yes,
as a part of your service, which I think is so cool because so many people don't have time to do that.
we do.
What can you share a little bit about your process and what you look for when the applicants come through to be able to decide who's a good applicant, which ones deserve a interview?
Okay. So basically, what we do is we sit down with the salon owner and we find out exactly who they're looking for, what they offer, what they expect, and then you get your own designated consultant who will actually handle the campaign for you.
Hmm.
So what happens is, as a resume or the resumes come through, we filter them and
Hmm.
we see if they tick the boxes. If they do, the girls will give them a call and pre-interview them and screen them on the phone.
Hmm.
So what we do, we ask them all the pertinent questions. They tend to open up a lot more to us as well, Carissa. We're a little bit like the
Yeah,
headmaster.
yeah.
They tell us less fibs. They tend to answer the phones more, and they tend to turn up for the interviews more because we're a national company as well. So if they don't turn up for the interviews, we put them on the naughty list and we don't present them ever again to any other
No,
clients.
yeah.
Um, because so they tend to open up to us. We get inside their heads a little bit. We check them out on social media and we have a proper conversation where they feel comfortable enough to open up to us about what they really want.
Hmm.
So, and then what we do is after we've done all the interview, we book them in for the clients and we send them a brief. Our
Hmm.
success rate of getting them to the interview is about 95% compared to if you try and do it yourself, it's about 20 to 30%.
Yes, I remember you
And
telling me that a little while ago. That's a
yeah, and
huge
that's
difference.
purely and simply not that we think we're the most wonderful things in the world, but we do this for a living. We're not trying to work on the salon floor,
Yeah.
and trying to ring someone at 7 o'clock at the night with the kids screaming in the background. And unless you have that conversation with a candidate and they really like you, they're not going to turn up for the interview.
Yeah.
So it's forming that relationship with them as soon as you're on the phone. It's a bit like ringing a company. Your first point of contact is that first person that you speak to. So whether you do it yourself or whether you ask us to do it, it's really important that you put your best foot forward. So number one, they want to talk to you on the phone. Number two, they want to open up to you. And number three, they want to turn up for the interview.
Yes.
So they're the three most important factors.
Yeah.
And then you get them in for an interview. If you're doing it yourself, always make sure that they know exactly where the salon is. If there's any bus routes or if they're driving, where to park, give them some tips. And we always make sure that, there's a glass of water there for them and, they sit nice and
Good
relaxed and you're not
first impression. Yeah.
first impressions and, you bring them in and another really important thing in it as well, that you don't just sit there with a list of questions that you're firing at them, or there's not like 2-on-1. You sit down with them and have a lovely conversation with them.
Yeah.
And
Is
get
there
them
any?
to talk.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Is there anything that you recommend as like conversation
I yeah,
tips or questions
I
or?
always get them just to tell us a little bit about yourself. Do you know much about the salon? Tell me a little bit about yourself, where you've worked last. Like, you can go through the resume and tick all that off with them, but anyone can write anything in a resume. I can sit
Yeah.
there and write anything I want.
Yeah.
But it's really important to just talk to them like you would meeting a new person that you want to have a relationship with, or a friendship, or dating again. Just chat to them like you would another person.
Get to know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that way they'll tend to open up more to you.
Yeah,
Then you
exactly,
can have
because they
that
feel
conversation.
comfortable.
They feel comfortable, and then
Yeah.
you can just sort of find out where they've worked in the past. If they're going to put down their last boss, that's a bit of a red flag, unless, that's a real reason.
True.
Yeah.
Yes. What
So we
about
want to,
red flags? Is there any red flags that we should look out for during the interview process?
well, I always think that if they arrive late, the way that they're dressed, um, if they're putting down their last boss, or they're talking about their personal life and their boyfriends, if they're not professional, if they're not asking questions, if they're playing on their phone, just make sure it's a professional conversation, and they're interviewing you, you're interviewing them.
Yeah.
So ask them about, do they want to advance their careers? What they loved about their last job, what they're looking for in a new job, what they expect out of this role, what do they know about your business. Just have an open-ended conversation with them.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a good tip. So for anyone right now who has, let's say there's someone who's been struggling to find staff for like 6 months or something, and they've tried doing everything themselves, or they're putting posts on Facebook, or they've done a crappy ad on Seek and it didn't work. I'm not going to say crappy. Like, some people they just don't know. Like they
Don't know.
try their best, they try to figure it out, but they just don't know that what they're doing maybe isn't the best way, because nobody's ever shown them how or helped
And
them.
that's
So
okay.
that's
That's
fine.
okay.
That's right. It's not their fault. What would you recommend they do? Like, obviously, you are there as an option to do it for them and take that off their hands. And I see that as a pretty good investment because it saves so much time. What does that process look like?
Okay, so all they really do is have to give me a call or go to our website to the contact form and just fill out a little form. And then myself or one of our girls will give them a call and just have a proper chat to them, Carissa, about who they're looking for and what they offer. I'll get inside of their heads. I can have a look at their last ad as well, just to see what they've written, so I can get inside of their heads a little bit more. And as I always say to them, it's a little bit like me trying to do my own hair or my own beauty or doing my own bass.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I can do it, but I'm not
Not
going
going to be
to,
as good.
because, yeah, we think we're superhuman, but then we burn ourselves out. We're really not good for anyone if we're burning ourselves out. And we've got lots of hats to wear in life, I think. And, we're here for them if they need us, even if they just want a little chat and sort of say, look, what do you think? Even if they've got an ad up on Seek at the moment and they want to give me a quick call, I can have a quick look at them just for your clients only. I can have a look at the ad and come up with some ideas as well. Happy to do that.
Yeah, cool. So how can people reach out to you if they are interested in having a chat?
Well, they can either go through you or they can give me a call. Do you want my mobile number?
Maybe just give the website, just because this will
Okay,
end
the
up.
website is National Salon and Spa Recruitment.
Okay.
So there's a contact
.com
form
or
on there,
.com.au.
.com.au.
Okay.
So just have a look on there, or they can contact you and you can pass on my details.
Mm-hmm.
So we can just have a chat with them,
Mm-hmm.
and we're getting some fantastic results at the moment,
Yeah, can you
and
share that conversion rate or again, that
yeah,
like
about with our goals, which is where we do all the screening, it's about a 93 to 95% success high rate in the first 30 days.
right.
That's where
So
that's where we're
you'll get
doing
them
everything.
a good staff member in 30 days.
That's a success rate for
Yeah.
the ones that we're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get that. There's a disclaimer here. We're not going to get that if you're not open to listening to our suggestions. So, if
Fair
you're
point.
open to listening to our suggestions, and we know what's working for other salon owners, we
Yeah.
know what candidates want.
Yeah.
If you're really open to us coaching you through this and making sure that the ad is right, and you're flexible, and we can offer great working conditions and great rate of pay, then you're
Yeah.
going to get a much better result.
Yeah.
Candidate applications are just through the roof at the moment. I don't know what's going on, but we're getting some really great candidates coming through as well. I
Mm-hmm.
think we're getting back to pre-COVID normal, whatever
It's
normal
also the
is.
start of like a new year, and a lot of people, I think, start a new year with like, I want a new job. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that as well. Unfortunately, a lot of salons are closing down as well,
Yeah,
which
okay. So
is
they
really
have to go
sad.
somewhere
They
else.
have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
People are always moving in this industry. There's always movement. Hubby moves, parents move. You break up with a boyfriend, you move suburb, you move interstate. There's always movement in this industry.
Yeah, there is.
So there's always resumes coming through, but a lot of people too were working from home during COVID and
Yeah.
found out pretty quickly that it's not much fun
Yeah.
working in your garage with strangers coming,
Yeah.
and it's pretty lonely. So a lot of people that were working from home are now coming back to work with people
Yeah, I
and be
think
supported.
that's a huge thing, is that loneliness
Yeah,
and isolation. I've made that a bit of a theme for my this year for me too, because I realized I was just at home too
yeah.
much with no one around me the last couple of years, and I'm like, nah, man, I need to get out more.
You do, and have people around you and
Yeah,
support you.
yeah,
And I think we all need support. So if you're working in a team, you can bounce ideas off each other, but you're
exactly.
working at home with the kids screaming in the other room and strangers coming to your
You need
house,
adult
and
conversation.
yeah, adult conversation. And yeah, it's just more professional, and we all need that adult stimulation, and we need to be around people and feel supported and guided as
And
well.
ideally, good people who care about you and your needs and
Yeah,
who listen and who lead you
yeah,
and guide you. And I think that is what we all want in our businesses as well. We want great team members, and
yeah,
we need to be a great person for them
yeah. And
also.
we need to know the difference. Like, some people are too kind and try and be
Mm,
friendly with their team as well. And
mm.
there's a bit of a fine line there too as well, Carissa. You've
Yes, I
just got to
learned that
be,
the hard way too. I've done
yeah,
all like that. I think I started off like that. I was like, I'm going to be the cool boss. I'm the
yeah,
fun boss. You can do whatever
yeah,
you want here. You can
yeah,
share anything. And then I quickly
yeah.
learned that, like, oh no.
No,
Oh
there's got to be
no.
a bit of hierarchy. You've got to
Yeah.
be an approachable, lovely person, but you've still got to be the leader. I don't like the word boss, but you've got to be the leader that steps in and will, if someone's really busy, you'll go and wash their hair for them, like their
Yeah.
client's hair, and work as a team. But you're not their best friend.
Yeah.
There's got to be a leader that people look up
Boundaries
to.
and a little, like, there needs to be some respect there as well.
Yeah, there's got to be someone that they can look up to for guidance as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your best friend, you don't always want to take guidance from them.
No.
No. So a bit of a mum leader
It is a little
friend,
bit like parenting in a
a
way.
little bit like parenting. And being just a nice person, I think, as well, and
Yeah.
really listening to them.
Yeah.
I've noticed that if, and I go to a lot of
Everybody
different,
wants, yeah,
everyone
everybody
wants
wants
to
to feel heard. Yeah.
heard and respected and loved, and yeah, and validated, and they
Mm,
don't want to be told off in front of other people. They want to
no.
be, that was a great job, and this, and yeah.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different ways. It's just being a good person.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people are great at that. Some people not so much.
That's right. We're here on this journey to learn. Some people
Yes,
learn earlier than others, and that's okay
exactly.
too.
That's
Yeah.
right. Is there anything else that you'd like to give as a little bit of inspiration or motivation for finding new team members this year before we wrap up?
I think, as I said before, just really look at yourself first and foremost. Don't blame everyone else in the world either. That's not the easiest thing to do. Like, why things aren't working, really look at yourself and just go, okay, I'm going to be the most amazing leader so people actually want to come and work with me
Yeah. What kind
and
of boss
stay
do
with
I
me.
want? What kind of person would I want to work for?
Yeah, who do I want to hang around and spend my energy with? And
Yeah.
yeah, so that, I think that's really the gist of it.
Yeah.
And then, making sure that when we are advertising, whether you do it yourself or whether you want our help, it's getting that ad right
Yeah.
and being honest in the ad too.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
just
I
make
love it.
things up. You've got to have integrity when you're putting that ad together and really mean what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's in written format. So you need to do that as well,
Yeah.
which makes you accountable, which is a good thing.
Exactly.
So I think that's probably the best advice I can give.
Okay. I like it. Thank you very
Okay,
much for joining us today.
that's all right. My
If anyone
pleasure.
has any questions for Sheryl, comment anytime, whether this is live or in the future, watching the replay. And yeah, we can forward that through to her, or I'll tag you in the comments.
Sure.
And yeah, let's find some great stuff this year.
Yes, yes, and keep them. We don't want
And
to just
keep
buy
them
them.
and build an
We want,
amazing team, an amazing business. That's
yeah,
what
and
we
just
want.
grow your business.
Yeah.
And, I have gratitude. I've been doing, just quickly, a lot of
Mm.
personal development lately, and it's all about gratitude.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but that's another subject. But it
Yes, it
helps in your
is.
business as
I
well.
try and remind people of that all the time because it's so easy to fall out of it and get into this
Yeah,
like blame and everything's hard and whatever. But then as soon as you flip back into like, you know what? I've got this many clients who love me, who
yes.
come back recently. I've got a team member who's amazing. Maybe I need more, but just focus on what you already have that's going great and the people in your life who are there to help you. And then you feel that feeling and then everything, then acting from that place is better.
And
So
you attract it in.
you
Like, if
attract it
you've got,
in.
I know that sounds a bit woo-woo, but
No, I'm all about it.
um, I
It's
know,
true.
but if you're a grateful person, you've got this beautiful energy, people are just automatically attracted to you. If you're
Yeah,
happy and you don't scream and rant and rave and carry
yeah,
on and
yeah,
you're not negative Nancy, people just
yeah.
want to be around you, don't they?
They
It's
do.
like you go to the shops and you attract in the right parking spot. And,
Mm-hmm.
you
Good
know,
things just happen.
yeah, good things just happen. And yeah, so that's another thing for people to think about as well if they're going through a rough time,
Mm.
to just try and flip it a little bit when
Yeah,
they're, feeling upset or anxious, or
yeah.
there's always something good that you can
There's
think about.
always something, even sometimes when you feel like there's not, there is always something.
Yeah, we've got a roof over our heads, and we've got to pay the electricity bill, but aren't we lucky to have electricity when the power goes out?
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, we
Yeah,
could go on about
we
that
could talk
forever.
about that forever.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much for joining me.
My pleasure.
And I will look forward to chatting to you soon online.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye. Have a
Carissa.
great